Visual components are toys that we can play with to compose our work of art. There are 7 visual components: line, space, shape, tone, color, movement, and rhythm. They are fantastic tools to convey mood and express our points of view. Using contrast and affinity helps you regulate visual intensity. Choosing to lock a specific component for an entire production can create visual style and consistency. Contrast and affinity can not only be applied within the shot but also shot by shot or sequence by sequence. On this video, we are going to talk about 5 visual components of visual storytelling from Robert Richardson's movies. In JFK, the most prominently used visual component is tone. Robert Richardson's cinematography heavily relies on high contrast lighting and shifts in brightness to enhance the film's theme of paranoia, truth, and deception. The film frequently alternates between high contrast black and white sequences for historical flashbacks, evoking documentary style realism and reinforcing the idea of unreliable or conflicting memories. Low key lighting in investigative scenes where shadows consume parts of characters' faces, creating a noir like effect and adds mystery and tension. Bright, washed out lighting in courtroom scenes symbolizing the exposure of hidden truths. Richardson used wide-angle lenses and deep focus, but for investigative scenes, he used longer lenses, constant camera movement, handheld shots, Steadicam tracking, and whip pans heightens urgency. It makes the audience feel immersed in the chaotic search for truth.
Because they want to know the truth. Because they want the country back. Because it still belongs to us.
The Aviator, the most prominently used visual component, is color. Early scenes, 1920s to 1930s, mimic two-color Technicolor, meaning greens are absent and the palette leans heavily into reds and cyan. Beyond this historical accuracy, color plays a thematic role. Warm golden tones in Hollywood settings enhance the glamour of the golden age. Cool blues and desaturated tones dominate moments of Hugh's isolation, reinforcing his mental decline. Red hues in aviation sequences highlight his passion and obsession with flight. Richardson chose wide-angle lenses to create an expansive feel in aviation sequences, while long lenses to isolate hues in moments of obsession. Sweeping camera moves, crane shots, and dynamic tracking shots mirror his grand ambition, while tight close-ups and off-kilter compositions heighten his paranoia. In Kill Bill Volume 1, Tarantino and Robert Richardson use lines in a dynamic and expressive way throughout the film to enhance action, composition, and mood. Diagonal lines are pervasive in fight sequences, such as the battle against the Crazy 88. The lines of the characters' movements, the slicing weapons, and the framing of the shots all create a sense of motion and intensity. The vertical lines of the sword fights, particularly the way characters move through a space, emphasizes the structured and ritualistic nature of the combat. Curved lines appear in the graceful choreography of some fight scenes. Wide-angle lenses exaggerate movement in fight scenes, while long lenses create intimate tension in close-ups. High-contrast lighting gives scenes a graphic novel feel with chiaroscuro shadows in the black and white sequences. Dynamic camera moves, whip pans, fast zooms, and long tracking shots heighten energy, while silhouettes, extreme close-ups, and split diopter shots add visual intensity. The cinematography amplifies the film's operatic, hyper-stylized approach to revenge. In Inglourious Basterds, the most prominently used visual component is space. Deep space is often used in suspenseful scenes, such as the opening sequence with Hans Landa interrogating Pierre Lapidite. The depth of the frame with Landa and Lafayette in the foreground and the hidden Jewish family in the background creates a sense of danger and secrecy. Flat space is also utilized in more intimate confined spaces like the projection booth where Shoshana plans her revenge. This flat confined space emphasizes her isolation and the growing intensity of her mission. Richardson used wide-angle lens to get the POV shots and also during the intense dialogue scenes. Slow, deliberate tracking shots build suspense, while sudden crash zooms and whip pans add energy to action. In the violent scenes, high contrast shadows are noticeable. Rich, desaturated earth tones dominate Nazi-occupied France, while bold reds emphasizing danger and vengeance. There are centered compositions, extreme close-ups, and split diopter shots. The most prominently used visual component in Hugo is the constant presence of circular shapes, particularly in the numerous clocks and gears that populate the train station and Hugo's hidden world. Throughout the train station, rectangular shapes can be seen in the structure of the station itself, such as the doors, walls, and windows, representing the organized, rigid world Hugo occupies. These sharp, boxy shapes contrast with the more organic, curved forms of the clocks and automaton. Richardson chose wide-angle lenses to create a sense of wonder, especially in the train station's vast spaces, while shallow depth of field isolates Hugo in moments of loneliness. The film's soft golden lighting evokes the warmth of early cinema, contrasted with cooler, desaturated tones in moments of uncertainty. Sweeping crane shots, Steadicam movements, and dynamic tracking shots mirror Hugo's sense of adventure. Silhouettes, layered compositions, and theatrical lighting celebrate George Millet's legacy, making the cinematography a tribute to the magic of cinema.
Perfect.
There is no strict rule that tells you how to use components, but they should always support the story. Robert Richardson's cinematography is defined by his masterful use of high contrast lighting, dynamic camera movement, and bold visual storytelling. He is known for his signature glow lighting technique, often involving overexposed highlights, subtle muted colors, and using light to create a sense of atmosphere and mood.
Waiter helps. It adds a taste of elegance, for which I must confess a weakness now and then. I call him Smedley. His real name is Frankie Jenkins, but I could hardly imagine anything more uncouth during